Okay, so today is
February 16th. So
Yes, it
we just left Iguana, the last island in the Bahama chain, about midnight. It's about 8:30 in the morning now. We're up on the Turks and Caicos banks. So yeah, made good progress. Just a gorgeous weather window. But yeah, it looks like we'll end up hanging out in the Turks and Caicos here for a while.
which isn't so bad.
Right.
We can deal with it. It's gonna be pretty. I'm excited.
The trade winds came in with a vengeance, so we needed to cool our heels for a while. We decided to take a slip in a marina as the nearby anchorages were uncomfortable with the strong wind. Southside Marina on the west side of Provo Island became our home, and we settled in enjoying the amenities that Marina can offer.
Road trip. Driving a little while on the wrong side of the road. Renting the car this morning, or renting the car today, which is Monday the 25th. And yeah, just get to see a little bit more of the island of Provo and Turks and Caicos versus the marina. And yeah, we'll take you along for a ride.
The marina was getting confining, so we rented a car for a day and headed off to see the sights. Visiting Grace Bay was nice, and it's easy to understand why this beach has become a favorite vacation destination for so many. While we were anxious to move on, the comforts of the marina were awesome, with an on-site bar and grill, laundry facilities, and free daily trips to the local supermarket made life easier than at anchor, although much more expensive. Another advantage of marina life is the social aspect, and meeting and getting to know other cruisers also heading south. The Turks and Caicos is not a destination for cruisers, but rather a stopover, so everyone you meet is typically either heading to the Caribbean or heading back to the U.S. or Europe from the Caribbean. We were fortunate to have met a number of boats heading to the Caribbean, with everybody sharing their plans and their adventure. We became friends with the McConnell family on Tiger, located just behind us, Island Spirit with Hayden and Radine, and Mark, who is on his way to Divinity School in Grenada as he opens another chapter in his life. Michael, a German, was on his way to Europe with a hurricane-damaged boat he was able to fix. And so it went. As we continued south, we continued to meet the same boats along the way and share stories. As we were producing this video, we received word that Michael's boat sunk when he was 300 miles from landfall in Bermuda as he was making his way back to Spain. The details at this point are sketchy, but he was hit with a rogue wave over 30 feet high that did him in. He was saved by a passing freighter, but Michael's dream, along with his boat, are lost. It's hard to fathom the sheer terror of experiencing that tragedy. Our patience paid off as a great weather window was opening up that will allow us to go all the way from Turks and Caicos to Samana in the Dominican Republic. In order to hit the window, we first needed to complete transiting the Turks and Caicos banks, with the wind still blowing, but much more manageable.
All right, well, it's been over 2 weeks now in the Turks and Caicos. We checked out the country yesterday. We were able to get off the dock at noon today. We just got our weather report, so it looks like we should at least have a fairly comfortable passage. What we're going to be doing is we only have about a 2-mile or a 2-hour passage today to a little island called French Key, where we'll overnight. And tomorrow morning we cross again the Turks and Caicos banks to Big Sand Key, where again we'll overnight. That'll probably be about a 10-hour trip, and then we have about a 30-hour trip from Big Sand Key to Samana, Dominican Republic. So the forecast seems reasonable. I mean, it's just going to be on the nose. That's what it is around here, but at least conditions should improve. Still blowing pretty good right now, but it's supposed to die out later on today, so hopefully we'll have a good night's sleep.
That night, we anchored off of French Key, near the edge of the banks where the water plunges from 15 feet to a couple of thousand feet. We enjoyed a restful night under the stars that were shining quite bright as we were in the middle of nowhere.
Just pulled up from French Key in the Turks and Caicos on our way to Big Sand.
Wind on the nose!
Yeah, wind on the nose. Oh, surprise! That's something new for us, isn't it? Huh.
This was a tougher passage than expected. Our first leg took us across some deep water where the current was running quite strong, impeding our progress. The next leg, we again came up on the banks with a primary concern of coral heads that are strewn through our path. With the early morning sun blinding us, our passage in this area was quite concerning. As the day wore on, we entered a section of the banks where the coral heads are abundant and near the surface. They kept us on our toes, but thankfully they were easy to see and avoid. Hitting one of these would have been a devastating impact on our plans.
Heading into deep water. Next stop is Big Sand Key. Hopefully 3 or 4 hours away, so we'll overnight there.
We were finally off the banks and in deep water, heading for Big Sand Key, where we would spend a night prior to heading out early the next morning for Samana, Dominican Republic, a 30-hour passage. In the end, we had a restful night's sleep, and at daybreak, we pulled up our anchor and headed out as 4 humpback whales played nearby. We were off to the Dominican Republic.